Good morning, Yinnon, my friend. How are you doing?
Hi, Gil. How are you?
It's great to see you. It's great to meet you. And thanks for your time for joining this series of interviews. And maybe we'll start with a short question about yourself, your background, and your activity at Sompo.
Great. I'm the CEO of Sompo's digital lab in Tel Aviv, overseeing innovation coming from Europe and Israel. I joined Sompo in 2018 to establish the team, and I've been working in this capacity since then. Our job is to create digital transformation, meaning leveraging technology to either improve our existing operations or to create some new verticals for the company.
Amazing. So, and I'm very familiar with your activities here in Israel and globally. And I believe that you are one of the global leaders that we see that are connecting between the demand and the supply of technologies, both from Israel and outside of Israel, to a big, large corporate such as Sompo, both Sompo International and also Sompo in Japan. So I think you're the right person that sees all the deals and all the activities globally to ask the question about the valuations, because we have seen a severe decline in valuations in Insurtech in the last year or two. We have seen a very bad sentiment coming over to these companies. And we're now trying to understand whether this is the market is sobering or this is temporary. How do you see the situation from your perspective?
Well, I think in 2022, it was a reflection of capital markets, of public market, right? So we saw a cluster of insurtechs that rose with a hype under the so-called promise of replacing traditional insurance companies. Well, that didn't happen, and the competition was fierce. And so valuations went down, and we all know that. I think the private markets are a reflection of that. So investors see what had happened. And in my point of view, this is a pendulum. So it swung to one direction with a steep decline in valuations. But now it's slightly coming back again slowly. And the reason is because there's always a need for innovation, especially in a traditional regulated industry, right? So especially with technology like artificial intelligence being more and more developed, there's more opportunity for new types of insurances, new types of coverages, efficiencies, automation, etc. And so I think that if you ask yourself, are we done? Is this the end of all ends for insurtechs? I'm not quite sure. I think it's all about being able to innovate, provide value that has business models that can be proven. And those are the companies that are going to be able to win in the marketplace.
Yeah, this is very interesting what you've just said, because you basically divided the market into two different segments, the ones that are competing with incumbents and the ones that are partnering with incumbents. And I think this is a very interesting overview. I think that if you would like to elaborate on the ones that are partnering with incumbents, and this also leads me to my next question, maybe you can share with us a bit more about the global trends that you see in the markets for the upcoming years.
Well, I think with regards to trends, there's no secret that AI, or artificial intelligence, is conquering the world. The value of the AI market is going to double itself and then double itself again in the next few years, because data is becoming more and more prominent, technology is advancing, and overall the value here is automation, be able to take that data and drive economic value. So in my point of view, whether incumbents or new players, this is going to be the future, in fact, the present of our industry. With regards to partnering versus competing, it's a matter of a business model, right? Being able to compete in this marketplace as an insurance company or an MGA, it's not only about the type of coverages or the innovation that you bring to the marketplaces. It's being able to distribute efficiently. It's being able to provide support in a way that's going to satisfy customers. There's a whole operation. It has a cost associated with it as well. So I do think that there is some room for new players to enter, especially in geographies where it's not so congested. And we're seeing companies like Next Insurance that is taking a nice share in small commercial insurances. But I think competitors have to realize that incumbents do not just sit and wait. So our organization was very busy in innovating and driving technology, and so we can get a competitive advantage.
Right. And in terms of the ability of incumbents to cope with new technologies and new business models, like around cyber insurance and new markets, etc., how do you see this going to evolve in the next years?
I think our industry has capital, and capital means that with the right management, you can invest in innovation. And now the question is, it's all about execution. It's all about is your organization built for changes and for driving new innovation. Cybersecurity specifically is a growing category, and it's going to continue to grow as long as we connect more devices and use more data. That the world of threats is increasing. So I think that incumbents who are taking this on and adding cyber insurance as part of their commercial lines is probably a good way to go. Typically, with large insurance companies, the main challenge is speed. Our industry is not known for moving quickly, but I think that this is changing with some new players coming in, and also the realization that there's a market to capture here. So in short, if you have the capital, it's all about management commitment and being able to execute to be able to drive innovation and mean it, not just kind of play with it in sandbox environment.
I completely agree, and you need to have a skin in the game. I agree 100%. Wow, Yinnon, thank you so much for this enlightening discussion. And it's always great pleasure to speak with you and to listen to your thoughts. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Gil.